This is Nemesis Tower. No shit, Sherlock. Now, you actually do get rewarded for completing the dungeons in reverse order. In the SEBEC Route, you get your totems for your ultimate personas by answering moral questions, basically, and at the end of the game, they reward you the totems for your party members. The way they work in this game is you get an item called Ambrosia, which you then trade for the totem item. They're pretty stingy with the Ambrosia. I think you might get 2, but it could possibly just be 1 for completing them in the correct order. If you do them in reverse order, though, however, they will give you extra Ambrosia, and enough for you to do all of your party members' ultimate personas. It's a really nice challenge run, but it's also really frustrating. You've got to do a lot of you've basically got to be around level 20 to even start, meaning you've got to do a lot of grinding before you start coming into St. Hermelin, and then to have any chance at all, you've got to do a lot of casino grinding, because the enemies in Thanatos Tower are nasty, and in addition to them being nasty, you also have the negative effect of, if you die in Thanatos Tower, they seal your persona. And you cannot leave one of these dungeons once you go in them. You are stuck in there until you either complete them or run out of time. So let's bring Elly with us. And she is now in the party. And I forget, does she start with a gun? She does not. Okay. Let's optimal everybody. I don't want the scalpels, though. So anyway, this is the casino, and this is the main reason why you got to do a lot of casino grinding. So if you come in here, no, I want to talk to you. The casino here has a lot of really good stuff. First of all, you can get a lot of the totem items, like the Emma Notebook. The Emma Notebook's pretty good because it teaches you a really low-level persona that knows Taro Kaja. Honestly, other than that, I don't really think the Black Garter Belt's pretty good if you can get up in the low 50s. But yeah, the main reason you would come here is for these tablets. You could get a Scorching tablet and teach your guys Megadolian. Really good. Anyway, we're not going to be doing that. So now we want to go... See, that's the cafeteria. We don't want to go in there just yet. There we go. This is the room I want. If you come into the room here, you'll see Nanjo, and you can recruit him if you want. I like all the implication that the nurse is a terrible nurse. Like, there are demons literally wandering around the street. He was attacked and injured. His butler died. And yet, he's skeptical. Way to go, Nanjo. So like I said, from a gameplay perspective, Nanjo is probably the best person to bring in your party. And then kind of it's a toss-up really between Brown and Elly. Of the two, I would probably side with Brown. He's got a really good weapon. Brown uses spears, which have kind of a weird range, but it's a very long range. Also, his weapons tend to hit multiple times, and more importantly, he has a submachine gun as his gun. And these submachine guns are amazing, although they are significantly less amazing in his hands than they are in the main character's hands. Drama, like, is that a thing? Drama club competitions? Like, I'm from a very small town in Texas, so, like, that's not a thing that we did. Because, you know, in Texas it's all about the football. Let's see, there's nothing in here. I think this is just an empty classroom. I mean, there's NPCs in here. but, let's see, the vice principal's in there, lecturing a student. This is, yeah, okay. I'm just filling out my map right now. Talk to the vice principal in here. So of course he's lecturing the guy for, I think, punching or pushing or whatever the student council president for being a lazy a-hole who won't share records. I like how all the people are like, wait a minute, why is there a pharmacy here? So anyway, you could probably do this in the base game, and I just never knew about it until recently. But if you talk to this frog here, right, he'll give you muscle drinks. Sample muscle drink. That is my frog's essence. It is pure love for you. I don't know what he means by missing a syllable. And this right here is a really funny reference to Dragon Quest. Walk into people's houses stealing clothes and mini medals. Anyway, so we've got some free healing items. That's nice. Over here we have a weapon shop. And across the hall there is an armor shop. I do want to buy something. I want to buy a few things before we go on. So I'm going to check tranquilizers. So I want to buy... Well, first let's sell all the stuff I don't need. There's a few things I want to buy. This, because these characters will never join our party. Don't need these, because we stripped everybody naked and they came back with magical new clothes. Other, can't sell those. Let's see, is there anything in here I want to sell? I sell these core shields, I don't need those. That's good for now. Alright, so first thing I want to buy I want to buy a Nanjo Sin. I want to buy... And you want to buy these bullets now, because when you go into the place, they're no longer available when you come back out. Because, okay, so the store is what it is now, but when you go into the first dungeon and you finish it, there's a store in the dungeon, and then when you leave, this store, its goods turn into whatever the last store, the last dungeon you went into stores is. So, the store in there actually sells better guns, but it only sells up to the serpent. It might be the flashbangs that it sells, but it doesn't sell the tranquilizers. So I don't think. I could be totally wrong, but I want to go ahead and pick up three of them, and we want to. I need a little bit of money, not too much. Sell these life stones. All right. And we want to put the Nanjo Sin on. So, in case I didn't point this out before, because I don't remember, it's been so long. If you look at the weapon, you have attack power, hit percentage, or hit rate, and then you have STK. I don't know what STK stands for, but what it is the number of attacks that it does. So her crane razor basically all means it hits every enemy once in the range of her weapon. You can see the range on her weapon there on the left. What the Nanjo Sin does is it will hit 4 to 6 times random. The Nanjo Sin is pretty good, especially for the boss up here. We want to sell these, and I'll pocket those tranquilizers for now. Come back. And there's an armor shop in here. I'm not going to be buying any armor, but we'll get it on the map. Alright, so now that we have turned down Nanjo and recruited Elly, if you come in here, there's a scene. Or if you get the scene as well if you speak to Nanjo and recruit them as well. But it's just the main difference between having Elly and Nanjo or having one open space is that at the end of this, Brown will join your party. So if you come in here before, Brown's like, oh, we gotta hide the food. Toro's gonna eat it all. So, I think what's going on here is that Philemon gave him a persona, and the Snow Queen caused it to basically go out of control. Because if you know anything about the persona lore, and one of the things that I was really, really impressed with about Personas 1 and 2 is how consistent the lore is from the first 3 games to the next 3 games, you know, 1, 2, and then 2, 2, and then versus 3, 4, and 5. But the lore is really consistent. She's totally the bad guy here. But, like I said, I think Philemon gave him a persona, and then the Snow Queen caused it to go out of control. So the Snow Queen, coupled with his feelings of rejection. Because... Well, this happened. So Toro is actually in Persona 2. He's an NPC you can meet in... I forget if he moves around or if he's just in the one restaurant. But when you walk up to him, it basically tells you that he's rich because he uses his persona powers to kind of work the stock market or something like that. I forget exactly what it says. Okay, that heart, I don't think it appears anywhere else in the game. I think somebody animated that little heart just for Toro, just for this one scene. And that kind of makes me happy. It's the most inconsequential stuff in games that always make me happiest. So, another interesting fact about this game is that ISA is actually from another... She was in another game at one point. She is one of the protagonists for SMT If on the Super Nintendo. If you choose a female main character, she's the protagonist. She might have a line in the SEBEC Route where she talks about if you recruit her. I forget exactly what she says, but I think she has a line that says she basically says, "I'm a pro at this. I've done this before. I've had something like this happen to me before," and it's a reference to If. My pure innocent heart. I don't think the pure innocent heart is a thing in America. Like, at least when it comes to high school age boys. I think that's strictly a Japanese thing. Can we talk about how 90s Brown is and how much I love him for it? Also, this is incredibly freaky. But I think this is kind of... He's not in control of the persona is in control of him. Kind of deal.
Here goes.
So this is the awakening battle for the two characters that you picked up. Well, ISA and the other character, if it's Brown. Because remember, Nanjo already has his. I didn't give it permission to come out. That's vaguely sexual. Which I guess makes sense. Because, you know, psychology. And if you recall, all awakening battles are guaranteed level ups. What in the world was that? But now our entire party has personas. And with the defeat of Mr. Fat Guy there... Don't call him fat. With the defeat of Toro there, the Velvet Room is now open and we can choose to go into one of the dungeons. My leg is gone to sleep. Oh my gosh. You're gonna hear me moving around a little bit here. You're gonna hear my chair creaking and all that. As I try to get some blood flow back into my leg. Oh my gosh. Okay. All these cables, I swear. Alright, so we have our party assembled. I like Brown. He's one of my favorite characters in the game because he's so optimistic and kind of delusional. Yes. And he calls Yukino boss, which is hilarious to me. Alright, so now that we have our party, I really, by the way, like this tune right here. The music here. Yeah, okay. So we can go into the Velvet Room. Oh, I forgot to buy something. So the same thing as the SEBEC Route. This is where you go to fuse personas, to equip personas. And we're just kind of gonna gloss through this. So we're gonna leave because I didn't actually buy all the things I wanted to buy. I don't recommend you really buy anything other than the Majo Sen when it comes to weapons. With the exception of if you have Nanjo, go ahead and get a plasma sword. But everything else is fine. Like, you have the rapiers for Elly and the main character. In the first dungeon, he gets an upgrade. It's not quite as good as the Fachard that you can buy here, but enemies can also drop the Fachard. So we're going to just remove that because I'm going to sell it. Oh, you know, I sold the helmet. Oh, well, that's not a big deal. It's just a little bit of extra defense. He'll be fine. Whatever. And I'll probably get a QQ helmet or something as a drop. Alright, so I want... What do I have written down here? I want to buy a Bufu Dine Stone, right? Yeah. I want to buy a Bufu Dine Stone. And that'll do it? Yes, that'll do it. Because I'm only making one persona. So, the personas that everybody starts off with. Nimhaim's pretty good. He's got decent resistances. Well, he absorbs wind. He's not weak to absolutely everything. Elly has Nike, and Nike is weak to physical attacks. And she has Hori. Hori's pretty terrible, actually. The thing that makes Hori so bad is it doesn't know any AoE moves. Whereas Elly has... Let's see. Nike has Dia. It has Koha, which is really useful against several really stubborn enemies. And it knows Rakukaja, which is a defense buff, which is really useful. Nimhaim learns an AoE. He learns Mazan, which is pretty good. And then the two worst persona users here are these two. Well, the two worst starting personas. The problem with Vesta is that Yukino is pretty slow. So basically, she's not going to get her attacks off. Which is kind of sad. because if you do max her out, she learns, what is it called? She learns the 2nd level Fray spell. Well, we want to do a guided fusion, is what we want to do. Because we want this. Yes. And we want to give the Bufudine Stone. So, when you give an item to a persona that teaches a skill, what it does is it forces skill inheritance. So they will not actually inherit any skills from the demons or anything like that. If you give weapons, they raises a single stat. Well, equipment. Each piece of equipment raises a different stat. The best choice if you're going to give equipment is hands down bullets, because it raises your magic attack and magic defense. Like, weapons give you a boost to strength, which is not really that big of a deal. So anyway. Oh, what am I doing? I've got to actually equip the persona. Alright, so we're going to take on persona. And we're going to give it to her. Because Hori is pretty bad. Hori's pretty bad. In addition to that, it also is also incredibly weak against the boss of Hypnos Tower. But thankfully, the persona we gave her is not. And the main character is also weak to the boss, the stuff that the boss can do. But he's got a little more HP, so he can... It'll be a close thing, but I think my main character will be fine. So anyway, let's change our formations. Alright, I want you here, I think. I want you here. I want you here. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Yeah. That way, you can attack the middle, that side. You can attack that side. You can attack the middle. You can attack the first 3 rows. And you can do everything up through the middle 3 rows. The middle 3 columns. Cool. Alright, so next time on Persona, we are going to... If I can remember how to save the game. Right, you gotta go to a tree. Durr. So anyway, next time we're gonna go into Hypnos Tower. I'm sitting there trying to go into the menu to save the game. I'm like, where's it at? No, you can't save anywhere in this game. You gotta go to a save point. So, we have done all of the starting stuff. And we are going to go ahead and save over this. And I will see you guys next time on Persona, where we will tackle the Hypnos Tower. Bye.